Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today as we explore ReadWorks, an online reading resource that systematically builds background knowledge, reading stamina, and also academic vocabulary. ReadWorks contains nonfiction leveled passages that fit nicely into our science and social studies topics. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen, and we're going to head over to readworks.org. So readworks.org. You'll start off on this page and you can click on sign up, enter your first and last name, an email, and a password. I use my district email for my account here. It's also going to ask you about different subject areas that you teach and a few other questions. Don't be too concerned with them because it won't alter what's offered to you. Once you're able to log in, you'll come to your dashboard. And so on the dashboard, there's all sorts of different things up at the top. And I'd like to point out the teacher guides. So these are downloadable teacher guides that can help you with how to use ReadWorks, what is article a day, how to use it, the student library. So if there's anything that you might need a little extra guidance on, there probably is almost like a cheat sheet that you can download and also have for future reference. Another area are the free webinars. So these are on demand, and they range from 30 minutes to an hour, but it gives you some ideas about how to use article a day, supporting all learners, student independent work at home, and so on and so on. So these are wonderful resources as well that you can check out at your convenience. The first thing that you're going to want to do is set up a class, or if you're just setting up ReadWorks for a couple of students, and you'll start by clicking Class Admin. And once you get there, you'll click on Create a Class. Now, if you have a Google Classroom, you can import names from your Google Classroom, or you can create a new class. So I'm just going to put Grade 8, Tusenyo, and then you are going to invite your students to the class. And so what I prefer to do is have students sign in using Google, because all of our students have a Learn email, and that's the email that we would like them to use when they are signing in. So you'll click on Invite with Google, and then over here it says Students Enter Class Code. So when students go to ReadWorks, there is an area that says Student Login, and they click on there, and they can click on with the class code that you have provided them. They can write that down, so that would be the only thing that they need to know. And when a student opens up their ReadWorks, any assignments that you have sent to them will show up here. It will also show them submitted assignments that they've already submitted, and also my big book of knowledge. And so students can look back at the different things they've written about the articles they've read. So if I have a look at some of the assignments that I have, so I'm just going to look at ecosystems, and this I'll show you later in the presentation how you can assign this to students. Students will get all sorts of articles that you've sent their way, and so I'm going to click on What is a Desert? And so some of the different accommodations that are present for students is students can listen to the article that was sent to them.
What is a Desert? By Kate.
And you'll notice this one has a human voice that is creating the audio.
Dry place.
Some have computer generated as well. The speed can be changed, so it can make it faster. And then if we scroll down, there's a picture, but there's also some words highlighted in blue, and when you click on them, there is a definition. There's also some supports that we can add if the student spoke Spanish, the word is there in Spanish, or Chinese, and we can add those supports in for each student, and each part can be read to them out loud. Other supports that are here is the text size can increase or decrease. And then also that paragraphs can be labeled so that if you are referencing a certain paragraph, it is there for students to have a look at. And another great feature is that line tracker. And so as things are being read, students can track.
Very little rain falls in the desert. Many deserts
that's
are
an extra
hot.
support that can be
Deserts
added in.
can be sand.
Another feature, the last one on the line here, is a split screen. And so you'll notice it says Book of Knowledge. And so it says, please write 2 or 3 things you have learned from the article that you want to remember. So some students may benefit by having the split screen so that they can look back, and then also they can look back at the supports that have been put in place for them as well. So if they're looking for, oh yes, okay, this is the word in Spanish, and they can use that to refer to. Once they write their things they wanted to remember about the article, they'll submit it, and all of this is submitted to you so that when you pull up the student, you'll be able to see everything that they've written down. So there's some good writing samples, daily writing samples that can be recorded and stored for you as well. So those are the features on the student's end. And actually, I think there's one more I wanted to show you, is the student library. So students have a library set up for them, and it's based on what their interests are. So as they start by saying, you know, I like animals, places, and history, and then they get to select a theme for their library. It's just a picture, and then let's go. And so a variety of articles have been chosen for me based on my interests. Now, as I complete different activities and assignments that have been sent out, this will update based on my interests and reading level as well. So now I'm gonna log out, and I'm gonna go back to ReadWorks on the teacher's end. And so I'm going to log in. Once you have sent that class code out to students, as they enter the class code, their name is going to show up here. And so when you click on the student's name, it'll say Article a Day, ELL, and Extra Support Features. And I've turned this on for myself. And if I only spoke English, so for all students in your class, you can have extra supports that will be recorded and presented in English. Now, if you have a student that speaks Spanish, Mandarin, Cantonese, Vietnamese, Korean, Arabic, or Haitian Creole, then you can click on those, and there will be some supports in those languages as well. So you'll save it, and now anything that you assign will have those extra supports for that student. I'm going to click on Find Content. So this is where you're going to find the content that you send to your students. There are a variety of topics, like I had mentioned, that especially fit our science and social studies units. So if I was looking for ecosystems, I typed at the top ecosystem, so now there's a whole bunch of articles here, and I'm going to click on Article a Day, because Article a Day is a 10-minute daily routine that will increase your students' background knowledge, their reading stamina, but also that academic vocabulary. So by clicking on that, now it's going to only give me sets of articles that have to do with ecosystems. I like the human voice audio, so I'm going to click on that as well. And then you'll see that this is the reading comprehension level. This is an American-based site, so the levels are a little different than here. If I have a student in grade 8 who is reading at a grade 4 reading comprehension level, I want to go back 2 levels. So I'm going to look at grade 2. One interesting fact is all of these articles are really student appropriate. And so, oops, there aren't any, or keep looking here. So I'm just gonna. When we click on this, and so this says a 4th grade, so it's really around a grade 6 reading comprehension level. When I click on this article, looking here, it's not going to look too much different than anything anyone is reading if you were in junior high. So if this was a junior high student in grade 9 that is reading at a grade 6 level, then this would be something very appropriate for them. Again, that hover feature is available there. And then also, you'll notice because this is an article a day, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different articles that have to do with high-tech conservation. So students would be sent all of these, and they can choose one a day to be working on. There's also a book of knowledge that if you were going to be doing this as a class, you can click on this present mode right here. And this would present, and because I put that I needed extra supports, the I learned sentence frame would be provided. So please write 2 or 3 things you have learned from the article that you want to remember, and it would start a student off by saying, I learned that. And that would be the extra support that had been put in place. Similar to what we looked at when we looked at the student perspective, students can listen, they can change the speed, there's pictures, and then again, if it's on the student end, they would have the line tracker as well for them. I'm just going to go back to the content. Some, if you're not looking for articles, so sets of articles that go together, you can also look for ebooks. And these ebooks, so I'm going to put, this is at any grade level. So if I wanted it at a grade 2 reading level, this is here. And notice I had ebooks. So when I click on this, there is an ebook, and this is based on the article, Invaders of the Ecosystem, but now there's more information added, and it's presented as a book. So students can listen to this and gain more information on the topic that they were exploring. Now, if you have a look, these boost articles are slightly lower level articles in the article a day sets to help you further differentiate for your students. Then there are challenge articles. They're slightly higher level articles included in the article a day sets. There are collections, so they're topics that are concrete or maybe familiar or relevant to ELL students are a great place to start your article of day routine. You may also want to include full question sets. And so what those look like, there's full or express. So there are questions based on what the student just read. And again, on the student end, they can split the screen so that they can go back and use that strategy of rereading. All of these answers, once they are submitted, the answers have been calculated, so you get some stats on the student and how they've been doing. This one also has a vocabulary activity. This can also be projected onto the front of your board or on an Apple TV. And so this could be something you can do as a class together before you start reading. Here are the vocabulary words that you will be reading. Let's see how well you already know them. And so students then move the dots to tell you, I don't know this word, I've heard of it, but not sure of its meaning. I know something about its meaning, or I know it very well. Then this would be submitted to you. There's also a word builder vocabulary activity, and it goes over that words are made of smaller parts that are syllables, and then students create the words based on syllables. So vocabulary activities, question sets. There are also open-ended question sets. So these question sets support an understanding of the important information in a text through explicit inferential open-ended questions. There's inferring question sets, monitoring question sets, text structure, and article a day vocabulary. So again, you can change the reading comprehension level. And there are some special collections that are there. So all sorts of things. Let's say you were looking for dinosaurs. And maybe you're looking for a little bit higher reading level. So I'm going to add the grade 4 on there and take the grade 2 off. And so now we're looking at around a grade 6 reading comprehension level. And there's a vocabulary activity, just like before, and some question sets. So these ones have comprehension and also cause and effect questions. Again, all of this, once students have completed their assignments, let's see if I can find some here, it would tell you how many articles they've read, the words they've read, words written, words explored. It would show you their book of knowledge if any of them had been completed. And it would let you know the articles that they had completed. So it gives you some stats on those multiple choice test questions, but also if there's any open-ended or writing in the book of knowledge, then that would be there as well. This is ReadWorks in a nutshell. There are lots of other little parts to it that you can add on, but this definitely will get you started. I know myself, Carrie Toussaint, would love to connect with you if you're looking for more information, or if you're just looking for a little extra support in creating a class, please feel free to reach out to me or to your ELL consultant. Thanks for joining me today.